welcome everybody back to another official podcast episode of ByteSizedBalance. I'm your host, Tavis. Make sure you following us on all platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Today, we got a special surprise for everybody. I have a senior network architect with me today, a close friend of mine from my past work job that I used to have. So his name is Ben Olowamuke. And he's a very experienced professional and has been in the field for a long time. So, Ben, how about you go ahead and introduce yourself to the people?
Yeah, thanks, Tavis. Like Tavis said, my name is Ben. My last name is Olowamuke. I'm a senior network architect. I've been in the industry for over 25 years. My experience, I'm kind of an end-to-end architect. I started from application and up to where I am. I'm happy to be here.
Nice. So Ben here, he has an interesting story, everybody. So he, like I said, he's very experienced in his field, and I'm just gonna let him dive into how he started when he first got into IT up until the point he is now. So I really feel like this message will be really inspirational for people trying to get into the field and people trying to get into networking, because as y'all know, here on ByteSizedBalance, we all about letting our audience know about different ways to do things and learning new knowledge and how things were processed. So Ben, how about you go a little bit into your background for the people and let them know exactly what the whole process was.
Thank you, Travis. All right, so I grew up in Nigeria. My undergrad was based on computer science. From there, I did a lot of programming, Fortran, Basic, COBOL, Pascal. That's where I kind of grew up around, programming. But if you know how Nigeria is, you have to know different things to be able to scale and learn, different skill sets, right? So back then, I did a lot of setting up cyber cafes, helping the small businesses to connect their networks. This is basically the days of dial-up connection. You have to use RJ11 to connect to the internet, the days of AOL, American Online.
Okay.
And then also ISDN, we scale out from that. So that was kind of like the time that I moved from being a system person to an infrastructure person.
Nice.
So to speak. So, and then when I came to America for my grad school, I went to NYU and did, information management systems, learned a few things. There was a time that someone told me, there's going to be an internet boom where things will change and companies will create that will invest heavily in infrastructure.
Nice.
Data centers and things of that nature. So I thought, well, that's an opportunity for me to look into networking. So started from the bottom, A+, Network Plus,
Okay.
CCNA, Sun. If you know Sun, that's Sun Certified System Administrator,
Okay.
Unix. I did that, and just trying to learn whatever I could learn to get myself ready for the next boom, if you get me.
Okay.
All right, from there, I just didn't stop there, CCNP, and then just kept going. All the certifications as well. I did, like I said, CompTIA, I did Sun, I did Aviatrix now, which is newer. I did pretty much everything you can think of, just learning different things, then up to CCIE.
Okay.
And then just picking up different jobs from working for a service provider to working for a bank to doing freelancing work. You need to run a cable in your data center, hit me up. I'm there. So back then we had pagers. There was this company.
Yeah, I remember pagers. Yeah.
There was this company that used to send you jobs in your pager. You sign up for the service, and then you get a page, and then you go to the job, and then that exposed me to running cables, being in the data center, cold environment, racking and stacking, all those kind of things. So that really helped. This was a long time ago.
What's this, early 2000s or?
Yeah,
Okay.
2004, 2005,
Yeah.
that year.
Nice. And as y'all can hear from his experience, the guy's been doing it a long time. Like he said, he's been in this field over 20 years, and he's very knowledgeable on his craft. I know that personally from working with him. It was times where he dove into stuff and he lost us, and we were mid-level engineers, and it was still it was times where we didn't really understand what he was talking about. So his technical depth is very deep, which is why I wanted to bring him on. One of the reasons that I wanted to bring him on in the first place. So what was your first IT role? Where did you jump straight into networking, or was it more, did you start off help desk? What was your actual first IT role?
That's a good question. I think I alluded to that when I was talking about getting paid, right?
Oh,
So,
it was that company. Okay.
yeah. So this was back in New York. I was running cables, run cables, rack and stack. There was a project that I did in Long Island. We had to replace the MDFs for a lot of schools. So I was there first in the lab, configuring routers and switches and firewall and servers, and then from there, you box it, you take it to the site, and then you cable it up. So that was interesting.
Nice.
So we did that, and then we move on from there.
Cool.
So that was the first.
That was your first though. Okay. Yeah, man. So like I tell a lot of my viewers and a lot of people get confused, and they think that you can just jump straight into a high level role, but you gotta realize high level professionals, they all started from the bottom. They all started from doing technician type work, doing call type work, and it really takes time to progress until you can get up to those levels. So I wanted y'all to hear it right here from somebody who's been doing it for this long, that progression is normal. So don't feel bad if you have to start off at an IT technician role or start off at a help desk role. That's the process, and then once you learn those skills, you can build on those to further your career. So a lot of people don't know exactly what the difference is between an architect and an engineer. And I feel like a lot of people in IT have this misconception that an architect is just a higher level engineer, when it's actually a whole nother skill set and a whole level role. So how about you dive into that and just tell everybody what the difference between a network engineer is and a network architect?
Okay, thank you. So at the foundational level, an architect is still an engineer.
Okay.
Right? So what just makes them different is the mindset, how you think about problems, how you approach problems, right? An engineer is someone that is focused on a very specific technology.
Yeah.
You are trying to fix a problem, or you're trying to design a problem. Basically centers around that technology, right? Fixing the problem, even designing, a solution, but at a very minuscule level, so to speak. Now, an architect, when you look at, and also let me go back to the engineer. Engineer can be in an infrastructure layer where you're working on a project. You're helping the architect to execute a specific task within the project.
Okay.
And then you can also have an engineer who's in operation, right? So you maybe in a NOC, right? So NOC is a network operation center,
Right.
where you're troubleshooting and reacting to problems, right? So that's one version of an engineer. But now when you look at the architect, so you have to look at an architect as someone that is looking for a solution, right? So there's a clause to that. An architect varies by company. You can work for a vendor or a service provider. How they will categorize you as an architect will be different from how they will categorize you as an architect when you work for a vendor.
Okay.
Right. So you have a network architect, and you also have a solution architect. Right. So, example, say you are a solution architect for, say, a solution, so say SD-WAN or SDA or any combination of technologies within a solution. you are trying to provide a solution to a business problem. So that means you have to understand the business requirement.
Right.
So you have to understand how to gather the requirements for what the business requires. And then you also have to analyze the technical requirement to get to that outcome.
Okay.
Right. So now when you think like that from the basic level, then now you have to go into how do I design the solution that will get the business to the outcome. Right. So designing the solution means the selection of the technologies that you will use to get to that solution, right? That's number one. Number two, the selection of the solution, you have to understand the use case to what the business needs. You can't just pick any solution and say, well, this will work for this, and you just patch it up. When you do that, the network engineer will suffer, especially the network engineer in operations. They will not be able to support the solution that you're designing. So you have to be able to understand the business requirement, the technical requirement, and then the business outcome.
Okay.
Right? And getting to that, you have to understand the technical capabilities of that solution, so you can kind of, break it down to what you can explain to the business, because you cannot be speaking technically all the time. So you have to understand how to, for lack of a better word, dumb things down to the business,
right?
So they can understand what you're talking about to get them to what they need to get to, right? So that is just a solution architect. Now, when you look at a network architect is very specific because the focus is network, not solution. That's why I said it depends on the company that you work for, how they tag that, right?
Yeah.
So when you look at a network architect, now a network architect is infrastructure.
Right.
Right. So the infrastructure is the servers, the wireless infrastructure, the OT, the IT, the whole shebang. How that works from how a user, a sensor, a robot will connect to the network. Right. So you look at it from the access, you look at it from the security, you look at it from HA, high availability. You look at it from, SRE, all those kind of things. You look at it from the infrastructure level, right? And then you deploy.
Okay.
There's this idea of PDI, which is plan, design, and implement, right? So when you look at it from that standpoint, everything else that goes after that, you want to be able to explain that to the business or to the company. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So from my perspective, is what you're pretty much saying is you're not just working on a specific technology, you're actually designing the whole technology from the perspective of the business and the perspective of the engineers.
That's correct.
So you have to understand the use cases of what the business needs and the use cases of what the engineers are going to be working on and come up with a solution that benefits both.
Exactly.
So it's a very high level role, and it's not just, like I said, you're not just troubleshooting switches. It's more you are actually implementing the technology, selecting the technology, and putting all that into play with the business side of the company as well, and implementing it all together.
That's correct.
So
when you're designing or implementing something, it cannot be in your head.
Right.
You have to think about who is going to take it over when you're done. So the engineers needs to understand how to troubleshoot it so they can get the systems back up as fast as possible. So whatever you're designing, whatever solution or project you're working on, you need to ensure that you're getting the input from the operation guys, the network engineers, so that okay, well, if I do this, would it make your life better? What are the things that you want to, because these are your stakeholders essentially.
Nice. And yeah, like we pretty much explained it there for you guys, what the difference is. And a lot of architects start off as engineers, and they, as they progress in their career and as they progress in their field, they will dip into a more specialized, you even have general architects, like, it's another buddy of mine, I won't mention his name, but like I said, you're leaving the lower level and pretty much going into the design phase. So that's how I would explain it.
Right.
So how did you level up to actually get to the architect level? What was I know you told me about your first job, but what was your actual progression to where you got at now?
Sure. I spent a good part of 15, 17 years from running cables to being in operation. I spent 15 years in operation, either for an ISP or for a vendor. So working on trouble tickets, fixing issues, or basically reacting.
Right.
So you're reacting and you're proactive. Architects are more in the proactive space.
Okay.
We catch the problem before it happens, and then you're in operation, it's reactive.
Okay.
So ticket comes in either through Splunk or through any NMS system that you use, then you try to troubleshoot and do all that stuff. So I did that for a while and I got tired of it. Right. So I remember my manager at the time, they had several recs out for an architect role, and he said, "Oh, you want to be an architect?" I said, "Yeah." Do this or that. What he was saying at that time was stop working on a specific technology. Just to kind of put it in perspective, I was working on routing at the time. Probably you know what routing is, right?
Yes.
The routing protocols and things like so.
Sure.
Well, you focus on that. Focus on solution. So I remember, going through different books and learning about IWAN, and IWAN is intelligent WAN. And learning about DMVPN, SD-WAN, and all those things. So all those technologies has different. IWAN and SD-WAN. It's a solution that has different technologies embedded into it, right? IWAN, for example, has DMVPN, has IPsec, has different things, which makes it a solution, right? But if you just know routing, that's just one piece of it. So you said, well, just learn different solutions so you can be a solutions architect. So I just went crazy, just reading different books and just getting crazy with the knowledge. So what I always tell people is, do not be complacent.
Right.
Be hungry. You got to be hungry. If you're hungry for knowledge, everything else will come.
Right.
Right. So I was hungry. I was just learning different things, talking to different people, just picking up any books that I could find, any ebook or whatever, just pick it up. I had a lab in my house.
Nice.
Like 16U rack, routers, switches, firewall, all that stuff. Just
labbing is important. It is
hands-on.
Yeah, it is.
You got to have the hands-on, because just knowing on paper alone is not enough, because at the end of the day, you're going to be in CLI or GUI, for what it is now. You're going to be fixing a production network. You're going to be working on a production network. So the knowledge, knowing it, was important for me. So I was hungry. I was always learning different things. And and after my manager was like, "Oh, yeah, I think you've been on this project, you've been on this account. I think you can move up." So, and then certification also helps, because some companies, they respect certifications.
Right.
Not only before you get into the job market, also while you are in the market, because companies, when they are signing contracts, they would talk to their customers and tell them, I have X amount of CCNPs or CCIEs or VMware or Palo Alto engineers, certified engineers. We can support you. So it's critical for the business as well.
Right.
So you having that in your
on your resume,
it helps the business, and it also helps you to move up. So I was hungry, and I was always learning, and got a CCIE, did all the stuff that I needed to do for the company, and then
nice. Now you here, huh? Yeah. So that's I like when he was talking about saying that he was labbing, he was learning a lot on his free time, and that's Josiah, the other, a network engineer that I had brought on earlier in the series. He was saying that labbing is pretty much important, and it's just people taking the time out, because you put into life what you put into it, and if you're taking the time out and you're you might not be able to go out with your friends. You might not be able to do certain things that you enjoy doing, but you have to realize that the things that you are learning and the things that you're pouring into is going to better yourself in the future. Right. So it's all about putting the time in to learn these technologies, putting the time in to study certifications, putting the time in the lab. And that's really good hearing it from somebody who's been in the game for so long, that these are the things that get you to this level. So just take that with a grain of salt, everybody listening. Okay. So another question that I wanted to ask you. So as an architect, what are at a high level, what are pretty much you kind of dove into this. I was going to say, what are your day-to-day look like? Like, what does your day-to-day look like on the job?
Well, so day-to-day for me, was obviously right now I'm working on a project. So I'm focused on the project and making sure that things are moving on properly, and then we are executing to get to the timeline and meeting the deadline. So just daily stand up, with my project, my PM, and then the resources that I have, ensuring that we are executing and planning, because you do a lot of planning.
Nice.
You do planning before you execute. You just don't go boom, start the line, right? So you have to plan. You have to work with your stakeholders to get the requirement. Requirement changes all the time. So you have to align with them, understand that, is it still what it is? These are the things that we're doing. You work with your PM. The PM is kind of like your best friend,
right,
on project. So you get feedback from what the conversations look like, from what he or she has had with those people, and then you adjust as needed. So from there, you just align your own design, align your scripts, you align whatever you're doing to ensure that you do all that stuff. But also on the other side, you might have some folks in operation.
Yeah.
They're also asking questions about, can you help me do this? So you just kind of bounce between projects and operations. So the majority of your activities will be around projects, right? So that is just for me right now, right?
Right. Okay.
But when you look at other architects in different companies, it might be different.
Right.
Because, like I said, it's corporation based, right? So they can have an architect in operation.
Right.
They can have an architect in business.
So it really depends on who you're working for, too.
Exactly. That depends on the corporation,
like
the company. Yeah. So
umbrella.
It's just a title.
Yeah.
Like I said, an architect is still an engineer.
Right.
So.
Nice. And I like the way you said it, because he's right, depending on the company that you work for, they can have you doing a whole different thing. So networking is one of those fields where I feel like it's always going to be needed. Like, even with the advancement of AI, what do y'all, like I was telling y'all in the last pod, what do y'all think all that stuff is running on in the back end and data centers and all of that? Networking will never go out of style, especially as much as all the computer infrastructure that's keep running, and it's never a skill that's really going to run out. So y'all actually dipping into those technologies is never going to hurt you in the long run. And I definitely feel like it's one of the best lanes that you can be in IT. So that's good stuff. So what are some skills that you think people need to know if they want to get into networking?
Okay. So I think I alluded to that earlier, right? So I will now try to break it into two.
Okay.
One, there are some people that are coming from a non-technical industry to IT, and then you have some people that maybe have basic knowledge of IT. If you are coming from a non-technical industry, I would advise that start from A+.
Okay.
That will teach you the hardware and software and different OS and different hardware. Get you in there. Some of my mentees, I tell them to take the test. Some I just, depending on how I gauge them, don't worry about the test, but just know the content of that A+ curriculum.
Right.
And I will test them. I will ask them questions, right? So you can kind of go from there based on the answers of, all the kind of things. You can say, well, you should take the test, right? That is for someone that is, based on my evaluation,
right,
coming from a different industry, I can say, well, you need to take the A+. Now, after that, you probably want to take the Network Plus. Network Plus is just fundamental,
Right.
mostly objective. There's no CLI and things like that.
It's
So
just theory.
theory. But you need to, understand what you're reading. And from there, CCNA, that will give you this, hands-on
Right.
experience, because there's so many tools that can help you to get the basic hands-on experience, like Packet Tracer,
Yep.
GNS, even G, all those other platforms. It will help you get the hands-on experience. Why? Because it's critical. Because as you're moving up, it gets tougher, right? So you need to understand what you're doing at the packet level,
Right.
right? So get familiar with Wireshark, understanding, packet and frame level,
Yep.
knowledge or information. So that will help you. And as you're moving up, when you get to the CCNA, now it depends on what educational background you have, right? So at that point, you should get a mentor that will kind of guide you. Okay, well, now you have CCNA. Some people get tired. I've been doing CCNA for 3 months, 6 months. I'm tired. When am I going to get a job?
Right.
So that's why you need a mentor to kind of guide you on how you build your resume, how you can volunteer,
Right.
in library and things like that, to get that hands-on experience. That way you can add that to your resume, right? So, and also prepare you for interviews.
Yeah.
Remember, you're coming from a non-technical industry,
Right.
right? You want to get that mock interview, right? So let me start there for CCNA at that level. Now, for someone that has some experience in IT,
Okay.
maybe help desk or something,
Right.
or fixing computers,
System
right?
administrator, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So now, at least you have some experience about what IP is, what
Right.
TCP is, or all those kind of things, right? So now you can just let them jump into Network Plus, right? Just because there's several levels of how you can get into this, but I'm just kind of like talking about it from a basic level, right?
Right.
So you can just go into Network Plus. Network Plus, Security Plus, those are DoD certified certifications as well. So we can, at least when you get those, at least you can have at least some technical conversation, right? So you can, from there, well, I like what I'm talking about, I like what I'm doing. Go CCNA, go CCNP, go CCIE, go CCDE, go CCA. I think that's deprecated right now, but I can go as high
Yeah.
as you can go. So, but the key thing is, don't just focus on certification.
Right.
You have to know it.
That's where the labs come in. You said that's why those are very important, right?
Yeah. No. Well, first you start with the theory, what the book is saying. As you're reading the book, have a small lab, Packet Tracer, or whatever, so you can interpret what you're reading in the book with what you're seeing in the CLI output. So you know it, because when you get into an interview,
Yep.
you might have some people that will grill you,
Yep.
and they will ask you questions.
I've been grilled.
And they will not ask you questions about what is this, what is that.
Yeah.
It will be questions about scenarios, like, why would you do this one instead of this one?
Yeah.
That means you have to know different ways to do different things, and then have a deeper understanding about what it is you said you've learned and you're certified in, and then you can improve it.
And they like to ask, tell me about a time that you. That's one of the ones that say, tell me about a time where you implemented a change where it was for the betterment of the company, or like you said, or when you get in these interviews, that's why I tell a lot of people, like, certifications, yeah, they are good, but you still have to be able to talk to exactly what the job entails when you get into these interviews. So, like he said, that's where labbing comes in, actually tying your learning to exactly what the practical work of that job entails. Because when you're just reading the book, like, yeah, you might have the book knowledge, but at the same time, when you get in those hiring managers' faces, they want to know exactly what you could do, not just what you know.
Exactly.
So that's good. That was definitely a good take, and I agree with you on that as well. So you kind of already went over it, but I was going to say the best certs for networking. A lot of people classify CCNA as a beginner cert, but you were saying that Network Plus should be your first networking cert if networking is something that you would like to get in. From my perspective, I felt like that CCNA teaches you the theory and the practical as well, though, not just the theory like Network Plus. So some people jump straight into CCNA, but some people feel like it's kind of hard. But I mean, so what networking certification would you advise first, Network Plus or CCNA?
So like I said earlier, so you can see Network Plus is a theory,
Okay.
the foundational knowledge building. You don't have to jump straight to CCNA. There is also CCENT, right?
CCNT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first exam that you take, because CCNA has 2 exams, right? So you can take the CCENT, and then you can get it the second exam, and you have CCNA, right? And then there are also other. There are so many. When I was starting out, there was no YouTube,
Right.
so I had to look for books and do all those things. But now you have so many people training on YouTube and giving you information that it's either you go straight to CCENT, or you go to Network Plus, or you go to CCENT or CCNA. But the reason why I said you should go to Network Plus first is because you need to understand the foundation of networking, right? So when you finish that, if it's tough for you, then don't jump to CCNA. Start with CCENT, CCENT, right? Start with that. At least you can be a technician or something. At least you understand the cabling, you understand the router, what it looks like, the ports, understand what the buttons do, right?
Right.
The software, all those things. So you understand what the basic things entails. So once you understand that, now when you go to CCNA, and there are other vendors, right?
Right.
That teaches you, basic networking. But Cisco is kind of like popular, where people kind of go that route because they have the CLI and hands-on lab environment and things like that. It's the same technology.
Right.
TCP is TCP in any other vendor.
Yeah.
UDP is UDP. IP is IP. DNS is DNS. All those things is the same thing, but they just offers you more lab environment, more lab content that you can interact with. That you can get a hands-on experience, right? But don't just jump if you're not if you don't have the time and you're not comfortable jumping straight to CCNA after Network Plus or getting the foundational knowledge. You can try CCENT. At least that will buy you time.
Yeah.
Get you, what I'm saying? Then you can go to the full CCNA.
Nice. And cause you do have those people that just jump straight in and take CCNA and pass it. But like he was saying, if you give different advice from people who understand computers than you would somebody who's just starting green from another industry that doesn't know anything. So I definitely agree with you on that. So another question I wanted to dive into. So tell me about a recent project that you worked on, and I really want you to get kind of technical on this one, just to hear the people speak your language a little bit, and just tell me about some of the, just dive into some of the different protocols, and just something recently that you probably implemented or in the past.
Okay, all right. So, all right. So, there's been several. Let me just. So there are some situations where I found myself. I think it was for government.
Okay.
So, they were trying to, it was SD-WAN.
Okay.
But prior to them implementing SD-WAN, they had IWAN.
Okay.
IWAN is the predecessor of SD-WAN from technology standpoint. So they had DMVPN, and you were supposed to migrate them from IWAN to SD-WAN. Okay. So you have to understand the landscape first, right? Where are the headings, right? How many data centers do they have? What are the transports? Transport means either T1 or cable DSL, VSATs and things like that. You have to understand those transports. And then once you understand how those transport connects back to the hub, which are the data centers, and how many users connect to each data center at a single time, Then how does the DR look like? Disaster recovery. So if you have to move one data center or collapse one data center, what does the user application look like? So you have to analyze that, right? And then you have to look at what the policies look like. You have to look at how the applications look like. What are the application SLAs? Some application suffers more than the other. Some applications use UDP. Some applications use TCP. Some applications use different, just ephemeral ports, random ports. How do you want to optimize that experience for those stakeholders, the owners of the application? So you look at all those. That's what I said earlier about gathering requirement, right? Once you understand the requirements, you now want to move that solution to a different solution. So there has to be a gradual, systematic migration from one data center to the other, right? So you look at, okay, which one is your backup data center? Which one is your primary data center? And then you kind of focus on the backup, the secondary data center. And maybe we should start up by implementing a C-Edge, which is a Cisco Edge or V-Edge.
Okay. What was it called?
C-Edge or
okay.
V-Edge.
Yeah.
Right? V-Edge is the old name, which is the Viptela old name. And C-Edge is when Cisco bought them and then
they changed the name.
Cisco
Okay.
C-Edge. So we call WAN Edge. Right?
Okay.
Just the WAN Edge. So one WAN Edge over here in the second data center. And then once you were able to create all the policies within the SD-WAN fabric to ensure that you have to plan. Remember I said you have to plan?
Yeah.
Because you have to plan your project, your deployment, before you actually implement.
Yeah.
So you know all those things that I said before, the applications, the QoS, the quality of service. You understand all those things, where your access are. Access are basically, this is one of the access. Your phone is an access.
Okay.
The switch is your access point,
right,
to connect your servers, right? The switch is an access point for your AP, right? You also have your WOCs of your wireless LAN controllers. They connect. So you have to understand all these layers before you now go into your distribution switches, your distribution layer, where okay, well, at this point, all my access will ag into my distribution, where in case I have a failure here, I have a redundant.
You got
sorry.
It.
I have a redundant path where I can move my traffic around.
Yeah.
Right? And then you have the core, right? And then the core also have to be redundant in case one IDF
goes down. Still got another one. Yeah.
You have another one, right? Then you also need to think about the security piece as well, because with your access, you have to think about security.
Yeah.
When phones are connecting, you have to be able to integrate your security platform. There's so many of them, right? How you integrate that into the phones, into the computers, how you authenticate the users, and then also any third-party integration, either for OTP, MFA, all those kind of things. You integrate all those things in there. That way, when the access comes in, you already have the policies built, so you can apply the policies to the phone, to the tablets, and all those things, so they can go to where they need to go to, and not go to where they shouldn't go to. That's where you have the idea of ZTNA.
Okay.
Right. Zero Trust Network Architecture.
Okay.
Where I want to know who you are, where you're coming from, where you should go to, and where you should not go to. So you identify them. That's where your identity comes in. That's your things like ICE, right?
Yep.
So you have all this policy built. You have to understand all this planning ahead of time before you start deploying.
Right.
Now, when you have all that stuff laid out, now you have the actual deployment where you start, running cables and applying the CLI scripts, and then once the secondary.
So what is the when you were saying SD-WAN fabric, where does that come into play? The actual fabric, is that can you explain that to me?
Okay, so you're gonna go super deep now. Okay, let's go. So when you talk about SD-WAN, so SD-WAN is a Cisco solution where you have.
To my understanding, it's software-defined wireless access network, right?
No.
Wide area
network.
Wide area.
Yeah. So the idea of SD-WAN came when the old ways of doing normal WAN, so you're running BGP, you're doing different protocols everywhere by using CLI, SD-WAN came where we're actually building a fabric. The fabric is just software defined, where you are actually doing all of these things by automation via GUI. You have all those other third parties tools to automate how you deploy.
Okay.
And the idea of that is to be able to decouple the control plane from the data plane, where your control plane is the part of the network that actually does the computation, the routing computation, how, like OSPF or BGP or those routing protocols, how those should be routed. It determines the path to how the packet should be forwarded.
Okay.
Then you have the data plane, which is I already know where to go. This is my next stop. You just go. So we decouple that by using a controller-based solution where you have what we call the vManage.
Yeah.
So vManage is your centralized GUI where you actually deploy the policies, right? When you click, and you push. And then you have this thing called vSmart.
Okay.
They've changed the names now.
Okay.
Yeah, the vSmart. vSmart is more like the brain where I receive the configuration that you put in vManage.
Yeah.
Now I will push it out, right? You also have this idea of the orchestrator, which is what we used to call vBond. The vBond is the gate man.
Okay.
That will first authenticate the WAN edge, like I said earlier. Before you come onto this network, I need to authenticate you. Right, so your signature, the certificate, or the serial number, system IP, a whole lot of parameters, the variables that it looks at to ensure that you're part of this organization, Yahoo, Facebook, before you come on this fabric. And once you're authenticated, and then it gives you all the information about all the other V-edges and vSmarts on the network, and then you're authenticated, and then you can get all the data plane information at the branch and how you connect to this site and this site. So all this are done. So that's a fabric base, and the SD-WAN is not the only fabric base, right? So you also have SDA and
you can get deep into it. I'm telling y'all, man. So
just kind of put it that
Yeah. So we're gonna kind of keep it high level, but I definitely wanted him. I like when he talk his talk, and I like when he, like, even me, I'm a mid-level engineer. Sometimes I get lost in what he's saying, but at the same time, it's like this is stuff that you need to know, and I like hearing it from him because I know he knows what he's talking about, and it's stuff that he's done, and it's stuff that he can speak to. So definitely good stuff right there. So definitely, you went into a project. So how about so what you were saying in all, how can we bring that back down to pretty much simple terms of exactly what happened? Like when that project was over with, like what was the final solution? Like just at a high level of what was implemented there.
Okay, so when the project is completed, and there are other things that needs to happen depending on the organization, right? Some organizations, they will have test plan.
Okay.
You have to show your test plan. Some companies, they will ask for UAT testing.
Okay.
User acceptance testing from the network standpoint, and there's what we call network ready for use.
Okay.
All right. So is it ready? What that does is just mapping those two deliverables to the initial requirements. Right, so did we meet the requirements? Are the things we need to tweak? Right, so once all that stuff is passed, and then it goes into operation. Nice. The net operation now manages it. So at that point, you as an architect, you then get assigned to another project, and you just keep moving like that. But in some cases, some architect, they will be called to go back and do some kind of optimization project. Over time, after the deployment, maybe lifecycle management. The hardware is reaching end of life, or there's some slowness somewhere, and then you have to go back in there and analyze what is making it slow. Is it a network? Is it a system? And you kind of go into detailed analysis of what is causing that, and then you come up with a plan to then mitigate that.
Nice. Okay. So it's a lot that goes into it. The people just think like, oh, like y'all just IT people, they not really doing nothing, or they think that it's y'all don't realize exactly everything that actually goes into all of that before it's not just somebody on the computer just clicking around. Like this is a high level professional right here.
Deep, man.
Yeah, that's you know, that has a lot of back end infrastructure and a lot of back end knowledge that needs to be known before dipping into this stuff. So that's good. But we're gonna kind of lighten the mood a little bit here. I know that you are a immigrant. You came here from Nigeria back in the early 2000s, correct? So how about just tell us a little bit what it was like growing up in Nigeria. Tell us a little bit about you know, the culture. You know, the culture in Nigeria that a lot of people probably don't realize. And yeah, just get that to the people.
Well, so I came early 2000s.
Okay.
Like I said, you know, I was a computer nerd.
Right.
Back home, so I came. Nigeria was cool. The food, the people, the culture. I mean,
so what Nigerian dish do I need to try?
Yoruba.
Yoruba? Okay. Is
Like
it a legit
yam.
restaurant around here that you can point me to?
Well, there is a place in Durham. There used to be. I can't remember the name of the street.
Yeah.
I think it's like Roxborough or something. They had Golden Cross there at one point, not far from the Bank of America. Now they have a spot there you can go and take out. Egusi soup, fufu, pounded yam.
Yeah.
Jollof rice.
Good, ain't you?
Yeah. Fill you out real quick.
Yeah, man.
There's, you know, values, you know, friend, family, God, other things, you know, those things they're embedded in us for the most part, depending on where you with family, because family is very critical because that's your, you know, your formidable years, kind of guide you and get you right.
Okay.
Be a good person, right? And then just be a good person, be a good friend. That will help you go far because I think I was saying that earlier. If you want to go far, you go together. If you want to go fast, you go alone. And then if you go fast, you get tired and you're back in the back. But if you go together, but as you're going together, you have to not step on people. Because when you step on people as you're trying to grow up, when you get up there, the people that you step on, when you're falling, they're not going to carry you.
Yeah, that's what you were saying.
Yeah, but when you
help people on your way up,
well, they'll carry you back up. Like, oh, he helped me on my way up.
Yeah.
You know? But when you go stepping on people, stepping on toes, when you're falling, you just the free fall. And the people that you left on your way up, when you're trying to climb back up, they're not gonna help you, right? So those kind of things, that is at least what I was taught, right? And then also, God also tells us in the Bible. So you have to be nice to people, just be good, have fun, right? Eat good food. You know what I'm saying?
That's always good. You know, everybody love to eat.
Yeah. So growing up in Nigeria, you know, I was a free kid. My dad was a cop, so I grew up all around the place.
Yeah.
So I grew up in different barracks. Went to a military school. So discipline, you know,
nice,
timeliness and things, and you know, this is very critical, right? And then in new people, it's very easy for me to adapt.
Yeah.
Because of those experiences.
Yeah.
You get me? So, yeah, it was good. And I just
nice.
Yeah.
So, another one that I really wanted to ask you. So as you came up, what is a mistake or what is something that you would do different, knowing now that you would tell people trying to get in that you probably made that you can tell them to do so they won't make that mistake? What is something you would say about that?
That's a tough question, bro. Yeah, so what I would say, I don't know if it was a mistake. It was just a personality.
Pretty much what I'm saying. What would you do different if you had to start back from the bottom? Yeah.
Yeah, I would have a lot of mentors.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't have anybody coming up. I was a lone wolf.
Yeah.
I had a lot of books. I still have my 1 terabyte ebook hard drive that I would just suck. So I didn't have a lot of, because when I was coming up, not a lot of people was doing this.
Right.
Remember, we had AOL, we had dial-up connection.
Dial-up, yeah.
Nobody was doing this. So
I remember that loud noise.
Yeah, so I had a lot of books just written.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that. But when I got to, 7 years into the industry, I started realizing, oh, I can actually teach people this. I can actually share these things. But the people that I met at that point, they were still struggling too. You know what I'm saying? So what I would do now, just try as much as possible to find mentors. That will, expedite.
So mentorship is important.
Very
Definitely.
important.
Yeah.
It will expedite your growth. Also, just network.
Yeah.
Right. As techies, we can be very sucked into our minds sometimes, like sucked into wired in. Right. So don't want to ask for help and just. So I would ask for help if I don't know something. The guy you were talking about, I would bug him all day.
Yeah.
I would ask him I'm in a new environment. What do I need to know here?
Right.
Just learn the lay of the land. No matter how technically sound you think you are, environments are different. You have to learn that. Don't get cocky. I wasn't cocky, but I was just like, I don't want to sound stupid. So let me just try to figure it out first. But what will happen is when you get into an environment where now you're working on a very critical infrastructure, there's no time for that. You need to collaborate, find people that will help you. If this person is not helping, find somebody else. So all those things is very, I didn't learn that growing up, not until later on.
So it's always something you can be learning. Right.
Exactly. So just always reach out, ask people for help. If they say no, find somebody else. Just learn. Be hungry, like I said earlier. Just be hungry, learn. So there's no island. No one is on an island of knowledge.
Right.
Right. So you just have to
Do you still study a lot?
Yeah.
You still? Okay.
In
Nice.
2020, I had to go to go cybersecurity. I did MIT cybersecurity.
Nice.
I did aviatrix. I did AI. I did just.
Yeah, man. Continuous learning. It never stops, dude. That's the field.
Yeah, because the lifespan of a technology is 18 months at best.
Right.
Every 18 months, something new comes out, and then you have to keep scaling up. So, yeah.
That comes with it, everybody. So like I was saying, it's definitely a field that we know that can be rewarding, but at the same time, these people put a lot of time into that, and it's definitely, you have to make sure you keep working on your skills. Like right now, I'm studying CYSA Plus. Security Plus was my first cert. CYSA Plus, because I've been landing a lot of security engineer role type interviews, so I feel like I need to make sure I got this CYSA Plus knowledge down pat when I'm in here talking to these people. So that's the next one I'm pursuing. I still want to take another shot at the CCNA. I actually took the CCNA. It was about 3 years ago, and I failed it on my first attempt, but it was because you know how it break down the actual domains that you did bad in? It was 1 or 2 domains that I wasn't as competent in. So maybe I'll take another shot at it next year. But like I was always saying, that's always a good cert. Even if you're not in networking, CCNA is always a great cert to have on your resume, everybody. Yeah. So we talked about your background. We talked about a project that you worked on. We gave advice to all the people watching about how to get into IT. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on that we didn't bring up?
I just keep learning. The industry is growing so big, and then when we're talking about AI now, AI is nothing but a giant system. I'm
glad you brought that, because I want to get your take on AI. Yeah. Okay.
A giant system that has modules, different, models that you're training, right? Well, if you have a system, let's say, for example, you have a system here, and it is running different models, how will it communicate with the other system to pull information? You need the infrastructure.
Right.
So you need to first have that understanding if you want to go into that route. Now, with AI with LLM and all those other, libraries, so to get into that technically, it's good to have some level of Python knowledge. That will help you with scripting, automation, and also uh, access to different libraries, right? And then the use cases, again, is very important. How do you plan to use AI?
Right.
There's this concept of responsible AI, right? Because when you're running AI, your AI is as smart as the information that you feed into it, right? If you're a doctor, maybe part of my language, if you're a crappy doctor,
Yeah.
you're giving it information about the crappy knowledge that you have. Now, if you tune it, you do your inference and all those hallucination prevention, all those things, you ask it a question, it's based off of the information.
It only knows what you tell it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's based on the information that you put in there, right? But when you know how to train the AI, you have different SMEs to give you information into the AI system based on what you're trying to make the AI do.
Yeah.
Right? You get the better results, and then the training and tuning is critical, right? So, but where the information is coming from is also very critical. That's where privacy comes into play.
Yeah.
So you don't have any data leakages, right? So anything that will contain PII, you will avoid that, so you don't expose your information or your corporation information into an AI system that might probably have access to the internet.
Right.
That way,
all of them do pretty much.
well, it depends on how you control the system.
Okay, yeah.
Right. So so there's this idea of web DMZ, right, or DMZ, right? So you control, right, and you put a system in an isolated environment.
Yeah.
You only give it specific. I don't want to go too technical in that area because it will take me back to where we were coming from.
Yeah.
But the environment that you put that system and what amount of information it has access to. You can do your first tuning or your data inference or all those kind of things by just limiting what information it has or what information you fed it, right?
Yeah.
And then you just kind of control that from that standpoint. There are different techniques, but I won't go into that. But the point is privacy.
Okay.
Responsible AI, so you don't leak your company information.
So overall, like, do you lean towards AI or you lean away from AI, like, as a whole?
You cannot lean away from AI.
You can't.
That's where we're going.
Yeah.
Right. So is either from cybersecurity standpoint, you're gonna need AI, because now even lazy hackers use AI to do stuff. Right?
They are.
Businesses, they will need AI. Business intelligence, business objects, the big data, data sanitization, cleaning, all those things. You need AI to help you do all that stuff. That's why you have data scientists, right? To clean the data,
machine learning and all that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have that. You cannot get away from AI. Robotics, you need AI. National security, you need AI. Pretty much where we're going now, this is like Web 4.0 on steroid. Sort of.
It's moving fast.
Yeah, because we have the data already.
Yeah.
The data's been around.
Yeah.
What we're not doing is how to be more intelligent with the data, right? So it's going to be an exciting time. So you cannot move away from AI, to go back to your question.
Yeah.
You cannot. You just have to at least learn whatever you can learn. You don't have to be, a geek around AI. At least know how to use AI for your business purpose, for your job function. And if you want to go to the back end, you can also do that as well. If you have the scripting skills like Python and TensorFlow and other things, you can get into AI and just learn how to work with different libraries and scripts.
But even with AI, network personnel are still going to be needed, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, the last vendor that I worked for, there were so many innovations around AI. That can do some very cool stuff around AI, around policy deployment, around ZTP, around different things, right? So very cool stuff.
Because a lot of people think, oh, AI is now out now, ain't no reason for me to get into tech. They gonna replace all them with AI. That's how a lot of people looking at the industry right now.
Yeah, that's
like, how do you feel about that?
You don't think AI would take a job. You are if you are a medical doctor,
right?
Can AI take your job?
I don't think so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're a network engineer, AI cannot run cables for you.
That's what Josiah was saying, especially like the physical layer, like
Right. So now there will be some mistakes, even with the configuration standpoint too, because an AI model, an AI model that you already packaged and ready to go, would know the last information and the data set and access that you gave it. So now, what if this vendor has this newer version of code, and now the syntax of the command is changed,
right?
And now the AI is telling you this, and then AI goes and deploys, and you got errors everywhere, right? So the AI system is based on what you give, the amount of information.
Because I don't know what you put into it. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. So a doctor that does surgery, maybe let's just say you have a robot that is doing surgery. That AI or the robot has AI module or AI system that is helping it. You give it logic, it goes and do it. There's some reasoning that a doctor would be able to, human decision, on the spot decision that a person can do, right? Based on experience, based on this and that, based on fellowship and things like that. The doctor can make that educated decision, right?
Yeah.
To do that. There will still be some mistakes that because it's still a growing market.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll still need people. But how do we get into a competitive state? So how do we have competitive edge? Skill up.
Yeah. Yeah, man. AI is I agree with that because like you said, it only knows what you tell it. If it's nobody there to put the knowledge into AI, it's just gonna go off old stuff, or it's just gonna go off what it already knows. And the way technology advances, like he said, like every 18 months something new comes out. If the syntax is changed and the vendor changed it and the ChatGPT or wherever the large language model is hasn't updated to that yet, then it's not going to be able to solve the issue until you give it that information. So it's still worth getting into the field, everybody, because as a person, you can stay ahead of AI. You can stay ahead of it by what you learn. Like he's saying, skill up. Make sure that your skills are in line with the path that you want to go down so that you may be solving issues that AI can't even solve yet. So I like that. And the broader your knowledge is, then, that's your weapon. Knowledge is power, man. And I say that in, all aspects of life. And, the more we know is the more we can apply it to our life and better ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. Let me add one more thing to what you just said. So there's even if you don't have the AI technical skills, you're a doctor, you're a nurse, there are some AI roles that will probably come up in the next 3-4 years that will be asking for your expertise to train different AI models, right? So you'll be like the SME to help train the model, right? So that's another opportunity. So your skills are not, obsolete in a sense, right? You still, as you're training the model, you're learning from, that experience with your normal educational background and your technical skill sets. You're helping train the model to make your professional sector better using AI.
So don't be afraid of AI, everybody. You just have to learn to adjust, and you have to learn to make the best moves so that you can be in the right position when it, in this world out here where it's fastly evolving. Yes, so like I said, we dug deep into a lot of stuff today. I appreciate Ben coming on. Like I said, he's very knowledgeable in his craft, very knowledgeable in the field. This is probably say one of my best guests that I've had on. And I know it might be some people down in the comments. Tell everybody what you thought about the video. If you got any questions about the video, leave it down in the comments as well. Ben, like I said, I always talked to him a lot when I was at Nova Nordis. He was a good friend of mine. He always, you know, had an upbeat attitude. He's a good guy. And, you know, it's somebody that I'm, you know, happy that I got in my network. And, you know, I just wanted to, if you wanted to give him any closing words as we close this out here. I don't know if it's anything else you wanted to touch on. Anything else you wanted to touch on?
Oh, no, not much. Just, you know,
Okay.
let's keep learning, stay positive.
Yeah.
Just stay hungry.
For sure. So I know y'all gonna play this one back a couple times. So y'all make sure that y'all listen closely, and you know how I do. I'm gonna clip it up and post it to my social medias so y'all can see different clips of it. This is Tavis with ByteSizedBalance. Like I said, make sure y'all following us on all social media platforms. Follow me on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. That's where you can really find me at. And until next time, I appreciate y'all watching.
Thank you.